Hey YouTube, this is XGW Chica. I tried making this video with my tablet, but it just didn't. It was just breaking up. It was like recording a little bit, it would stop, and then it would record some more, and it would stop, and then I don't know. I can't download the video from the tablet to YouTube. It's just weird. So I'm going to try to do it here on my laptop and see if it works. Yeah, I'm making this video today because I went out earlier, to go for a walk, which is something that I haven't been doing for a while. I needed to get back, on track and start doing for myself, go for morning walks and get my butt moving. So, hopefully, the weather, and maybe in a few months, a couple of months or something, it'll cool down. It'll be a lot easier. But right now, it's kind of like still humid and muggy, even in the morning. But anyways, I went to my usual place where I would go for a walk, which is like a local park. And guess who I see? That's right, Jehovah's Witnesses and their cart. Okay, so they set up their literature cart and set up their seats and have a seat there and wait for unsuspecting people to show up and, I guess, engage with them. But when I had noticed what they were doing, I was already like further away from them, so I missed them just when they were setting up. So I was kind of far away, walking away from them and going around. So when I was coming back around is where I saw them, and because they set their cart up at the entrance where everybody couldn't help but pass them, and it's like hard to ignore them. I mean, you'd have to like purposely turn your head away and walk away and ignore, and to be able to ignore them. So yeah, so by the time I came around, because I was like, as I was walking, I was like, okay, what am I going to do here? Like, do I talk to them? Do I just pretend like, I don't want to talk to them and just like, ignore them? Like, what am I going to do here? Because I've never like confronted Jehovah's Witness out in public, like, about the policy, the two witness rule, or blood, no taking blood transfusions, or domestic violence, how it's like permissible. I've never dealt with confronting anybody Jehovah's Witness out in public like that. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. How am I gonna do this? So when I got to them is when, alright, I wasn't so blunt. I kind of played it off like, oh, okay, like, what is this? Like, I played it off like, oh, I don't know what this is, and what is this, and like, who are you? Oh, you're Jehovah's Witnesses, because it says right on the cart that they're Jehovah's Witnesses. So, and they're like, oh yeah. So I was like, oh yeah. So yeah, there was two ladies, an older woman, a younger woman, who looked kind of like a teenager. So the older woman was, doing a little sales pitch. Yeah, we're out here today trying to help people, learn from the Bible, and, there's so many problems out, the whole, the whole song and dance, you know what I mean. So I was like, oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So he said, oh, Jehovah's Witnesses. I said, Yeah, at my old job, I had a coworker who was Jehovah's Witness. So she kind of like was like the older woman, like face was like gleaming, like, oh really? Like, I'm like, yeah. And she said this thing which after she said it, like, I can't believe she said it. Like, oh no, you didn't just say that. Yeah, she says, oh, how could you tell? Because like she didn't have like the problems everybody else had. I mean, after I thought about it later on, I was like, you know what? She's bunching me and she's grouping me in with everybody else too. Whether she realized it or not, she kind of put me in that group as well. Of like, like I guess she was trying to say like, oh, like you notice the Jehovah's Witness woman was different because well, she's got her shit together, and you in your worldly cohorts there don't have your shit together. I guess is what she was trying to say. Like, what? She didn't say it quite like that, but she said it like, oh, how could you tell? Because, she didn't have problems or something along those lines. I was like, I wish I had it recorded because it's like you would have seen, like, some of the stuff she was saying was like BS. And I don't know if it was BS because by ignorance or if it was just actual BS to lie to the public, to make themselves out to be better or look good than they actually are. So I just told her, it really wasn't like, because actually in reality, in my old job, I did work with a lady who was a Jehovah's Witness, or who is well, at the time was a Jehovah's Witness. I haven't seen her in years, so I don't know. I'm assuming she still is. Maybe she isn't. I mean, I hope she's not, but whatever the case is. Either way, I digress. But, yeah, I said, yeah, she was a cool lady. She was kind of like demure, and she was kind of like, laid back, and, but, to her it was like, I said, she was a nice lady, and I guess as I was complimenting this woman, this coworker, you could just tell, like, her, like, ego was, like, inflating more and more. Like, it must have been some, like, JW fantasy, um, played out in real life from what they hear on the platform, at the Kingdom Hall or at the conventions, at the assembly conventions, about all these experiences, about how people just noticed how the Jehovah's Witnesses were this or were that, and they would just, all these, like, they were clean, they were nice, they didn't curse, they didn't, yada, 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 right? So I guess in her mind, it was like, this was like an experience. I bet you this woman's gonna go like to the next convention. She's gonna, if she goes to the platform, she's gonna be like, she's probably gonna tell everybody about what I said, that my coworker was this Jehovah's Witness who was this nice person who was, this, that. She's gonna be like, see, the world notices. We're giving a witness to the world, yada yada yada. So, like, whatever, lady, get off your high horse. But either way, um, so everything was going fine, I guess, until I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah, my coworker was Jehovah's Witness, and I said, yeah, I happened to go one day online, and I Googled Jehovah's Witnesses, and she's expecting, like, all this fabulousness was going to come up from search on Google, and then, boom, kaboom, here you go, lady. So, I, I tell her, well, I put in Jehovah's Witness in the Google search, and what comes up is Jehovah's Witnesses and child abuse. Stories in cases of child abuse, I tell her. So, and she was like, like, okay. Like, she was quiet there. So, I said, yeah, it's like, I said there was some mention in the search about, there's a policy I told you guys have called two witness rule, that there's got to be two witnesses or more to like a wrongdoing, like child abuse. Otherwise, nothing's done about it. And she's like, no, no, we don't tolerate that. We don't tolerate that. No, the elders. She said the elders, they take care of that. They make sure that that person is taken out of the congregation if it's found to be proven true, which I thought was like, that's a trip, because who are they to prove it's true? How do they prove it's true? I mean, they're not, you know, investigators. They're not, you know, do they work in the criminal justice system? The only people that would be up for the task of proving whether it's a true accusation or false accusation would be the police. You call the police. And that's what I told her. I said, well, they made it sound like, the people who were talking about this were victims themselves when they were Jehovah's Witnesses. I said, and they said that nothing was done about it. And then she shook her head and she's like, well, there's just some people out there, I don't know why, but they speak badly about us because they're angry. And I'm like, in my head saying, like, bitch, of course they're angry. They were abused and traumatized for life. And, to throw more salt in the wound, on top of it, the elders who are supposed to help them out and do something about it, do nothing about it because it's a bad PR move. It makes them look bad as a religion. Because, who's gonna, they're gonna go to a door, they're gonna deal with somebody in the public, and that person's gonna be like, oh yeah, you're the people who don't do anything, who have child molesters. Oh, like, you have child molesters. You're no different than any other religion. So they're like, well, you know what? We already have a shit time as it is when people don't want to open the doors to us. If they do open the doors to us, they yell at us and say they're not interested and slam the doors back in our faces. We ain't getting anywhere that way, so we gotta, like, take all this, material that's bad PR for us, and we gotta sweep it under the rug. Hey, if some people are sacrificed in collateral damage in the process, oh well, whatever. No, that's wrong. That's totally wrong. But either way, I'm telling this woman, like, this is what I'm seeing online here, and this is her comeback to me about it, is that there's just angry people out there. And, like there's people who, want to stir up trouble for them. It's like, no. I said, listen. I said, I'm a parent, and to me, as far as I'm concerned, it should be zero tolerance. Zero tolerance against the child abuse. I said, as a matter of fact, I told her, there was, something that happened a few years ago with a church in the area, that I think one of their pastors was caught and accused of child molestation within this is like one of those non-denomination type churches or something in this area. And I was telling her about it. And, but either way, I asked her, I turned around and I asked her after I told her that, I said, well, do you guys in your church, I said, do you have any child molesters in your church? I told her, because I have to watch my words, because I don't want to say in the congregation, because I figured that's going to be the giveaway, and that's going to cut the conversation right there. So I said, in your church, I said, do you guys, or you ladies, are there any child molesters in your church? Because I know there was one that was caught a few years ago in another church here in the area. So I guess that was my segue to to them, and like, because I wanted her to say, but I knew she wasn't going to say. Even if she did know there was one, she wasn't going to tell me. I mean, they don't even want to admit that's a problem, child molestation within the congregation. She's going to tell some worldly woman, or in the park that, oh yeah, we do. Yeah. By the way, you want to study with us? Yeah, we got a child molester in the congregation. No, of course she's not going to say that. So she's like, oh, like she couldn't really give me a straight answer. So I was like, okay, that should have been a simple yes or no right there. But yeah, she wasn't gonna. She gave me some roundabout crap. That there's problems everywhere. So it's like, yeah, no, I know, but I just figured, that question was a little, thought provoking, because if she doesn't know, and if that young girl that don't know if there's a molester there, well, I hope now they're thinking about it the next time they go to the Kingdom Hall. I hope that when they are seated there, or and they're looking around in the Kingdom Hall at everybody seated, or if they're standing up before the meeting and they're saying hello to each other, I hope either one of them or both of them are thinking in their heads, is brother so and so a molester? Is that brother a molester? Is that old elderly brother there a perv? Like, hopefully that made them think, or will make them think, next time they step into the hall and they look at the people around them. I hope they don't look at them the same with these rose-colored glasses, that everybody's, not perfect, but that everybody is not capable, that nobody's capable of this or nobody's capable of that. I hope they look at it differently, at least, and maybe that'll take them, down the path of, checking things out for themselves. But all in all, I may not have like dropped a lot of truth on them, but it was just enough, maybe to make them think, and for me to also get past that nervousness of talking to, or confronting, or talking to Jehovah's Witnesses out in public. A side note, I actually did a little on witnessing after I walked away from them and said, I'm going to go continue on with my walking. So there was an older gentleman who was taking his dog around walking. So we kind of had like the same pace. So we were kind of like, walking by each other. So he was telling me, oh yeah, they're nice ladies. I see them around here. I was like, oh, okay. I said, and I did a lot. That was my opportunity to do a little on witnessing. I said, yeah. I was just talking to them about something I read online about. They have a policy that that covers up child molestation, which is called two witness rule. That there has to be, if there matters of child abuse, somebody comes and says that somebody did something to them in the congregation, that they require two witnesses to it. And I said, what's the chances of having two witnesses see what happened? I said, to me, it should be zero tolerance to it, and they should immediately report it to the police. And he said, I'm with you. You should totally report it to the police. So, I mean, it wasn't a lot, but, I guess it put him on alert, and hopefully, it'll put other people on alert as well in the parts when they come through. Because, I noticed going around, people walking with their dogs, and they would just, like, play with their dogs, and talk about their dogs and like, oh yeah, I know so and so. It was kind of like social time. It wasn't even like preaching, not any preaching that I knew of, because years ago, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you this: there was one of the service meetings to go out and field service one morning. I think it was Saturday morning, and the elder that was taking the group out for field service made it a point that we don't go to people's houses to socialize with them. We don't go to people's houses to talk about this, that, and the other, and how's the weather, and make small talk. That our purpose in going out in field service was not to socialize with these people. That our purpose was to talk about the good news of the kingdom. That was 20 plus years ago. I don't know what the heck is going on today, because I didn't hear none of that going on. I didn't hear anything from these two women about the kingdom of God and the good news about the kingdom of God. Not one thing. Okay, so what the heck they doing there? They're just killing time. It's a joke. It's a farce. Whatever. Either way, just wanted to let you know what happened today. Wanted to share that with you guys. And, you know, I think I'm going to go have a cup of coffee. Maybe I don't need it. Maybe I don't need the caffeine because I feel a little jumpy here, a little riled up after I just thought about that. But I'm going to go have a cup of coffee. And, you know, I hope you guys have a great day. And I'll talk to you soon.